So for the next 2 weeks, I am trying to get a telescopic handler certificate. That is at least what Google says that it's called. I have never been trying to use these machines before, but if I can get this certificate, then I can get a job as well, which I have been getting promised. So that is very cool. But time for you guys to hear my journey of how this all have been going. Day 1 was very terrible. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So I was taking the train, that was going fine. I was getting to the correct station, that's great. I was reading in the mail I was getting from this place that I was needing to take a bus to get out there. Like a bus that was specifically made that it's going to them. So there was written 3 different kind of buses on that mail. I was seeing one of the things was written was a minibus. So I was asking the minibus that was there if they was driving over there or what bus would drive over there. I was getting told that would be the next one, the next party bus. Because apparently they was having a party bus to drive over there. So I was thinking, sure. On my mail it was written that it would either be blue or black. So I was seeing that there was coming a blue party bus. So I was going in that party bus. And well, I was getting to a school, but this school that I was getting to was not knowing anything about this certificate that I was trying to get. So I was like, okay. And then they was asking me what the address was. I was telling them the address. And then they was like, well, that is not here. And I was like, well, is it at least close? And then they was kind of laughing and was like, no, it's not close. It's very far away. It's like, okay, well, guess I'm in trouble now because of I need to be there in 6 minutes and I'm far away. There's no buses driving in this area, so I need to walk half an hour to an hour to the nearest bus station and then need to go to take a bus to get close to the school and then walk again half an hour to an hour to the school. So I was trying to contact the school and they was not taking it. They was saying that the person I needed to talk with I was needing to wait for like 15 to 20 minutes. In the meantime, I was trying to call my school and I was calling to 4 different people. The 3 of them was not taking the call. The last one was taking the call and was saying that they would try to make the first person that I was calling to call back. I was not having the time because I was stressed, I was annoyed and sad and everything was just sucked. So I was trying to call him again and he still did not take the call. So luckily enough, I was so lucky that while I was talking with the reception, there was another person there that was also having some trouble. And he was asking if he should drive me to the school. And I was like, yes, please do that. I would really be happy and grateful if you would do that. While at the same time, I was still totally out of it. So I was completely just a wreck. I was crying and crying and crying. Like the whole time before he was driving me and while he was driving me and all the way over to I got to the school. It was... It's horrible. But I got to the school. I was saying thank you. It was very nice of him. And then I was getting in the school. And of course, I was only half an hour to an hour late. But it was still way too much for me. I hate coming late. So when I was getting over there, then I was only missing some information. So that is not too important. But apparently they was deciding to meet 1 hour more early from now on. And then so after... Well, there's no buses driving at that time. Like to them directly. Not that I could get the correct bus the first day anyway, but luckily enough there was another person that then could drive me, so I was appreciating that. And then we was just getting some information of how everything works and some papers we could read and some tasks we could try to go over like on paper. So yeah, that was pretty much day 1. That was not a great day for me. I was not feeling good. Day 2, however, was much better. I was getting to try to drive this machine that I have never been trying to drive before. I have not been trying to drive any of these machines before, but this was the first of the 3 machines that I was getting to try to drive. It was very interesting. It was very complicated in the beginning, for sure, because I have never tried anything like this before. But I think the hardest thing is probably to get it up on its extra legs. They have 2 front legs that you can put up to get the telescope lift part out when you are lifting more heavy stuff. Also just to be able to lift more heavy stuff in general. And that you can see on this picture. This task was very complicated, mostly because of what I was not totally aware about in the beginning was a good idea is when you are having the forks in your eyesight, so like this head level, then you should make the fork more vertical, I think it's called, like more straight, like more flat, because of then it's much more simple to try to get the forks out when you have been placing an object, because of in this machine it cannot do two things at the same time, so you would need to keep on changing to make the bomb going up or down and then take the lift in or out. So that is a lot of up down up down up down to try to get the fork out enough that you can have the object there where you want to have it. So for sure interesting. I was loving to try it, a lot of fun, and of course there was also a lot of theory that day. And of course there was also this big block that we needed to bring around the track, and then after driving it around the track and trying to set the machine into like what we call a crab walk or crab driving, which is like all the tires, the wheels are like turned the same way. After we was getting to drive it around, then we needed to place it on top at the exact same place so that the two lines are matched up together, which is very hard to make perfectly because you cannot just turn the arms and you would need to back up and drive in again and then try to set it down. It's very complicated, and of course you also need to have the feet down there on the machine to make sure that it is available to lift it. But yes, that was pretty much it for day 2. Day 3 was much more complicated. We was going to drive this machine where we was needing to take these iron plates and lifting over to this container, and then we needed to put it on this metal plate on top of it, and to have space enough to do that you need to put them perfectly on top of it, and that is very complicated to do, but I almost did it. But of course, to do it perfect, I couldn't. It was the first time I was using this machine. This is the smallest of all of the 3 machines we are using, and it is the most complicated thing ever. Well, I did get a feeling of how it works, so that's nice, but other than that, then we also needed to do our theory exam, and that was going well. Actually, it was going so well that I was getting no mistakes at all. I am still wondering how that was possible at all, but it was, and I'm very proud of that. Sadly, the person that was saying that he would like to drive me to the place was not passing, so he was getting the option to do it the next day, so that is at least nice. But that was it for day 3. On day 4 we was getting to drive on this machine. That is the first time I've been driving on such a big machine. Like, it is very big. But the cool thing about this machine is that it can do multiple things at the same time. It can go up and down while it also is going out and in, which means you can have a much more smooth movement to get these cages in and out where you would like to place them. So that is so cool, and it's actually not so hard when you get to know how it works. So that was for sure the machine that I was getting to know the fastest of all of these machines. We was also getting to get raised very high up. We was around 14 meters up in the air, so that was very interesting to try. I love to be high up in the air. It's very funny. But other than that, day 4 was feeling much faster because of I was feeling like I was good at it and I was having fun, and we was ending the day with a piece of cake because of we were so many passing the day before. But yes, this was everything for day 4. Day 5 was much more interesting in terms of that this was the day that we was getting our first exam in driving. Well, it was for sure not going as I was liking it to go, and at the same time it was, because of I was getting to drive the one I was hating the most first, which was the iron plates. I was liking to get that, and the reason why I was liking to get that was because of that was the hardest one, and I was liking to start at the hard one so that I would not need to think about that later. Within 10 seconds, the control teacher, or whatever to call it, was commenting on the way I was picking up stuff, on the way I was picking up the plates. So that was making me very nervous for the rest of the thing. But even though I felt like I made thousands of mistakes, either they was not seeing them, or I was just having too high expectations to myself, but I was at least not failing that one. I was getting to the second one, the biggest of the machines, the one that can turn. It was going very good. I was very proud of that. I was very happy, very satisfied with how I did, so that is nice. But even though I was doing very well, all I was thinking to myself was, don't come to me, don't come to me, don't come to me. And what happened? My teacher came to me and was like, Freddy, you was doing a very well job. And when you think about that this was your first time, you should really be proud of yourself. I was shocked, but I was very happy. The last one was a crab machine, like because it can walking or driving crabs driving. I was a bit nervous with it, but I also felt like I have been getting as much training as I can to be ready. And all in all, it was going well, very well, even though I was very nervous. But I was very close to hitting something because of I was not getting to drive enough one way before was making it to crab driving. But all in all, it was okay because I did not hit anything. So yeah, in the end, I was passing the first exam, which means now I am allowed to continue to the last week. But I'm very proud of this. The last week was a bit more different because of we was needing to use the machines, but in a more crane-like way. We was also getting to see how some of the parts look on the inside, like when it's cut open, which was very interesting to see. We had two things we needed to learn before our final exam. One thing was to lift a long metal tower up in the air, but without it moving on the ground. That was very complicated to learn, but after a couple of tries, I was getting to learn it. But because of these tasks are a bit more different than what we have done until now, we needed to be two people to do it. One was driving, and another person was the eyes. So they needed to make hand signals of what to do because if they could see the stuff from a different angle. That was very interesting to try, and in the end I feel like I was getting pretty good at it. Our other task was to bring this cement round block from one position to the other position, but this thing was in three parts. The bottom part that we cannot move, the middle part, and the top part. And of course, we need to bring the top part first, but we cannot put the top part on before the middle part. So we need to take the top part, drive over to where we like to have it, drive back, get the middle part, put on the bottom part, and then take the top part after and put it up. And then do it all over again, but back. I was also getting to become pretty good at that. So I am very glad for that. And then one thing we got to try out that we did not need to learn, but that was just fun to try and interesting to try out, was there was these very, very heavy metal pipes. Inside the metal pipes were some blocks, some cement blocks. So they was not having the same weight everywhere. But we need to take it around the containers where we was not available to see what was going on behind. So we needed the other person to use a walkie-talkie to tell us where it was, how can we get it around, do we need to take the bomb up or down, do we need to take the telescope lift part in or out, what do we need to do. I feel like that was also going pretty well. I was only getting to try it once, both parts. So yeah, but that is actually it. The day was coming where we was needing to do the stuff. It was going much better than I expected. And yeah, in the end, I was passing. So I'm very proud of that. So now I can drive these things. I'm allowed to drive these things. So with that, I just want to tell you guys, everywhere where I drive with these things are so much more safe. Looking forward to see you out there. Bye bye.